Every election year, we hear about a handful of journalists who haven't read the memo, namely that donating to a political candidate or organization is a really bad idea. And this year, we can add a few more names to the list.
During this summer's Republican National Convention, New Yorker TV critic Emily Nussbaum dismissed Donald Trump's campaign as ugly and xenophobic. What she didn't say, she gave $250 to Hillary Clinton. Nussbaum is the most prominent journalist named by the Center of Public Integrity, which found almost $400,000 in political donations from self-described journalists, the vast majority going to Clinton. Openly partisan media figures like Keith Olbermann and Sean Hannity have been tripped up by donating to candidates. NBC suspended Olbermann. Fox News has only discouraged Hannity.
Is that the project you're most excited about this time around?
And even seemingly benign donations can come back to bite you, as ABC's George Stephanopoulos found out when it was revealed he'd given tens of thousands to the Clinton Foundation.
Those donations were a matter of public record, but I should have made additional disclosures on air when we covered the foundation. And I now believe that directing personal donations to that foundation was a mistake.
As they say, no cheering in the press box, and keep your wallet shut.
I'm just stunned, Joanna, that an organization like that doesn't have a policy. I mean, WGBH has a very strict policy. I'm sure the Boston Globe did when you were working there. You just don't even wade into it. And WGBH is an educational foundation. It has a newsroom, but I believe the policy extends to everybody.
No, it seems like baseline journalistic ethics. Perhaps there might be an exception, but I honestly don't think so. If you work for a news organization, but you're the food critic, if you're in the sports pages, maybe. But honestly, first of all, if you work anywhere near a newsroom, what you do touches government. The work that you're doing touches government in some way, and you need to sort of keep your hands off. I know that there are some journalists who go so far as to say, I won't vote. I think that's absurd. I really do.
Our pal Andy Hiller.
Yeah, I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
But but that's what you do behind the privacy of the ballot box. This is public, and you've got to maintain integrity.
Yeah, I mean, one of the great perks of being a journalist is that you don't have to give money to these people. I don't understand it.
I know.
And let me just explain something for viewers who might be a little puzzled about why this comes about. I work the opinion side of the street. I write an opinion column. Well, why shouldn't I be able to give money? It's not always about objectivity. It's about independence. It's about being your own person. I don't give money. There are no signs on my lawn. There's no bumper stickers on my car, even though probably anybody who reads what I write can figure out who I'm voting
I think so.
Yeah.
I got to say, I could not care less if Emily Nussbaum gives money to Hillary
Clinton.
Clinton.
I said that, too.
I could not care less. I mean, I thought that I used to work with the fellow who wrote that story for the Center for Public Integrity. He's a good reporter. I do think, though, that the story was kind of a big nothing burger. I mean, it was the food critic at the Orange County Register. People who have there was no one in there who actually covers politics on a day-to-day basis. Like, yes, if you go do a search for journalists in the FEC filings, you're going to find these things. But to me, it's
one thing. Emily Nussbaum wrote those things about Trump and didn't disclose that she was giving, so it's a little different.
I've got to say, I think it is
She's
comical that the line, that this is the line, as opposed to George Stephanopoulos might have an interest, a connection to the Clintons because he worked in the Clinton administration. That is okay. We are okay with that. But the fact that he gave money to the foundation is verboten. And the reality is the reason the line is drawn there is because our voting behaviors are private. A lot of our political opinions are private, but donations are public. At least I'm fine with organizations who draw that line. I think we should just be open about the fact that it's a little bit hypocritical, that is it. It's simply because news organizations don't want to be accused of bias. Right. It's not because they're going to be more or less biased.
And I have had a problem with the way it's sort of this back and forth where someone who's working as a political operative then ends up being a journalist or hosting a show. I've had a problem with that for years. But I think it boils down to the appearance. If people out there, when they get stories like this, see stories like this, then they will automatically say, oh, well, they'll judge everything that you do from then on by that $250 donation that you made to a campaign. And so, I mean, I think it's flat wrong that reporters should not be donating to campaigns, but I worry about how the public will perceive it and how they'll judge you from then on.
I think it reflects on the entire organization, not just Emily Nussbaum.
Sure, but I just think we need to be open about the fact that it's about the appearance.
No,
That is
we
what
are.
it's
I think
about.
we are.
I think it's more
Because
than
if you did a survey of American journalists in
They're all
newspaper
liberal.
newsrooms, they would bet it would be the exact same ratio, 96-4, whether they're voting for Clinton or
But it
Trump.
just
It's just that their
reinforces-
voting behavior
I
is
think
private.
I think
These
when you give
Republicans.
money to somebody, it becomes your person. And I've seen a lot of talk about, oh well, you know, this person isn't really a journalist, like Larry King. Larry King just interviewed Trump on Russian TV. I mean, you know, he shouldn't be giving money to
But some of
candidates.
these people aren't even working in the business anymore. I
No,
think Carol
like Larry
Simpson
King.
was
Yes.
mentioned
Oh,
as well.
Carol, I
It's
didn't
been
have any
years since
problem
she
with
was
Carol.
getting right.
I didn't have any
It's
problem
been a
with
while.